It's not the roar of the crowd. It's not the starting gun. It's the deafening silence inside your own mind. That split second when the world disappears and all that remains is you, the track, and the impossible dream you're about to make real. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone knows that sound intimately. At 25 years old, she stood in the starting blocks at the Paris Olympics, about to do something that would rewrite history. But here's what the cameras didn't capture. The years of sacrifice, the tears shed in empty stadiums, the mornings when her body screamed for rest, but her spirit refused to quit. This is not just a story about gold medals. This is a story about what happens when an American athlete decides that good enough will never be enough. Before you continue, if stories of extraordinary human achievement move you, if you believe in the relentless pursuit of greatness, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Because what you're about to witness is nothing short of legendary. The making of a phenomenon. Let's be clear about something. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just fast. She's a force of nature wrapped in American determination. While other athletes specialize in one event, mastering their craft through repetition, Sydney looked at the entire track and field landscape and said, "I'll take all of it." The 400-meter hurdles, she owns it, completely, utterly, without question. In 2024, she didn't just defend her Olympic title. She obliterated the competition. She shattered her own world record twice in a single season. Think about that for a moment. The fastest time ever recorded in the history of humanity? She said it. Then she looked at that time and said, "I can do better." And she did. 50.37 seconds. Numbers on a screen don't do justice to what this means. This is the athletic equivalent of breaking the sound barrier. This is pushing the human body to limits that scientists once thought impossible. This is pure, undiluted American excellence on display for the entire world to witness. But Sydney wasn't finished, not even close. Versatility, the ultimate weapon. In Brussels at the Memorial Van Damme, the weather was cold and unforgiving. Lesser athletes would have made excuses. Sydney made history instead. She stepped onto the track for the 400 meters flat, an event entirely different from her signature hurdles, and clocked 49.11 seconds, world-class time, elite performance. Then, as if to prove that she exists on a different plane than her competitors, she turned around and dominated the 200 meters with a blazing 22.07-second finish. Do you understand what this represents? Most Olympic athletes dedicate their entire lives to mastering one event. Sydney masters 3. And she does it with a grace that makes the impossible look effortless. This is the American way. This is what happens when talent meets work ethic, when natural ability is forged in the fire of relentless determination. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just competing against other athletes, she's competing against the very concept of human limitation. The Paris Olympics, a masterpiece. Unfolds Paris was supposed to be a coronation. It became a revolution. When Sydney defended her 400-meter hurdles title, the global athletics community watched in collective awe. Here was an athlete at the absolute peak of her powers, performing under the most intense pressure imaginable and somehow exceeding every possible expectation. But the individual glory was only the beginning. The 4x400-meter relay would become the stage for something even more remarkable. A display of American dominance so complete, so overwhelming, that it left the rest of the world searching for words. Show Me Your Little started strong, posting a 49.5-second split that put Team U.S.A. in the lead. The foundation was set. The stage was prepared. Then Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone took the baton. What happened next will be studied in sports academies for generations. Her 47.71-second split wasn't just fast, it was supernatural. She didn't run that leg of the relay, she flew. She didn't just extend the American lead, she turned a race into a coronation. Watching from the sidelines, coaches gasped. Competitors knew in that moment that they were witnessing something transcendent. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone had just delivered one of the greatest relay performances in Olympic history, and she was just getting started. The handoff, where trust meets triumph. Here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. As Sydney blazed toward the exchange zone, traveling at speeds that pushed the boundaries of human capability, another American champion was waiting. Her name was Gabby Thomas. And as Sydney approached with the force of a freight train, something unexpected happened. Something that reveals the beautiful complexity of elite athletics, where individual brilliance must merge with collective trust. Gabby later admitted that the speed at which Sydney came barreling toward her was almost overwhelming. Almost. But in that moment, two things became crystal clear. American greatness has never been a solo act. Yes, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone stands alone as the fastest woman to ever clear 10 hurdles over 400 meters. Yes, her individual achievements place her in the conversation for greatest female track athlete of all time. But what separates American dominance from mere excellence is something deeper. Something that was on full display in Paris. It's the ability to be simultaneously fierce competitors and unbreakable allies. Gabby Thomas didn't flinch when Sydney came rocketing toward her in that relay exchange. She trusted. She executed. She delivered a stunning 49.3-second split that maintained American supremacy and set up anchor Alexis Holmes for the finish. The result? A new American record. 3 minutes, 15.27 seconds, 2 titans, 1 mission. Gabby Thomas herself had a season that would define most athletes' entire careers. 3 gold medals in Paris. 3. The 200-meter individual title, showcasing speed that left the competition gasping. The 4x100 relay, where her explosive acceleration made the difference. And of course, that historic 4x400 relay alongside Sydney. When she received the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Award, the highest honor in American track and field, nobody could argue she hadn't earned it. But here's what makes the American athletics program truly special. Even as debates raged on social media about who deserved what award, Sydney and Gabby themselves remained united, focused, unshakable. Because they understand something that outsiders often miss. American dominance isn't built on individual ego, it's built on collective purpose. The mutual respect of legends. In interviews following their historic performances, both women spoke with deep admiration for each other. Sydney praised Gabby's resilience, her ability to perform when stakes are highest. Gabby marveled at Sydney's versatility, her seemingly endless capacity to push beyond known limits. This isn't manufactured sportsmanship. This is genuine respect forged in the crucible of world-class competition. When Sydney describes the relay handoff, the moment she trusted Gabby with the baton, with America's gold medal hopes, with the weight of an entire nation's expectations, her voice carries something beyond athletic analysis. It carries gratitude. It carries admiration. It carries the acknowledgement that even the greatest individual cannot win alone. Having a teammate like Gabby, Sydney shared, someone I can rely on in high-stakes situations, that's everything. The debate that misses the point. Social media exploded with arguments. Sydney should have been Female Athlete of the Year, some said. Her world records, her versatility, her relay split that defied physics, these achievements were unparalleled. Others pointed to Gabby's 3 golds, her consistency, her clutch performances when medals hung in the balance. Both arguments are valid. Both miss the larger truth. American track and field in 2024 wasn't great because of Sydney alone or Gabby alone. It was great because of Sydney and Gabby, because of a system that produces multiple world-class athletes who can simultaneously compete against each other and elevate each other. When Sydney ran that 47.71-second relay split, she wasn't just running for herself. She was running for Gabby, for the team, for the stars and stripes. And when Gabby received that baton at overwhelming speed and still executed flawlessly, she proved that American excellence is deeper than any single athlete. This is what the rest of the world fears. This is why American track and field remains the gold standard, not because we produce one great athlete, but because we produce teams of them. History will remember 2024 as the year Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone transcended sport. World records shattered, Olympic titles defended, versatility displayed across multiple events that left analysts scrambling to find comparisons. There are no comparisons. Sydney exists in a category she created herself. But perhaps her greatest achievement cannot be measured in seconds or medals. Sydney McLaughlin. It's the demonstration that American athletics, built on dreams, forged in sacrifice, and expressed through relentless determination, remains the pinnacle of human athletic achievement. Sydney and Gabby showed us something profound in Paris. They showed us that true champions lift each other up, that competition and camaraderie are not opposites but partners, that wearing the American flag is both an individual honor and a collective responsibility. The 4x400 relay gold medal now hangs around the necks of 4 extraordinary women, but its weight is carried by an entire nation that believes in the pursuit of excellence, that refuses to accept limits, that looks at the impossible and asks simply, why not us? Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just an athlete. She's a symbol of what happens when God-given talent meets American determination, when dreams are bigger than obstacles, when the fire inside burns hotter than any doubt outside. The track will see new champions. Records will eventually fall. But the standard Sydney set in 2024, the combination of dominance, humility, and relentless pursuit of greatness, that standard will echo through generations. This is American track and field. This is excellence personified. This is Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. Now it's your turn. Who inspires you to push beyond your limits? Drop your answer in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of extraordinary human achievement.